You know, there was a time when I found myself completely endlessly scrolling social media. It always just felt normal for me to be on social media, and normal turned into compulsive. And then I found myself asking the question, is this good for me anymore? Although I will say this, has anyone ever said that their life has been worse off because they've completely ditched social media entirely? So if perhaps lately you've been procrastinating the thought of potentially giving up social media entirely, and decided to start thinking to yourself, is this thing that I'm doing all the time adding value to my life anymore, or is it just completely wasting my time? So in this video, I'd like to pull apart a few discussions surrounding social media and look into it a little bit more and just see how it can affect us on a day-to-day basis and take up more of our time than I think we realise. Hi, my name's Luke. If you're new to the channel, thank you for stopping by, and if you're returning, welcome back. I think for a very long period of time now, for a prolonged period of time now, social media has found its way into a lot of people's lives. And it's found our way into our lives so much now that we kind of consider it normal. If you were to look 20 to 30 years ago, no one was on social media. We didn't spend all this time, in this matrix, in this virtual world, all talking to each other. It didn't happen. 20 to 30 years ago, we weren't doing this. This wasn't normal. We've now got to a point where we feel like it's completely normal. It's almost impulsive. It's, it's moulded its way into what we consider normal day-to-day activities, and that in itself is kind of scary, especially when we think that it's only been around for a short period of time. So for me, growing up, social media came into my life around my late teens. So it's not something that I grew up with and was moulded into, as to speak. But I found myself seeing it as something just compulsive. It was something that I thought nothing more of and just did all the time. The reason I decided to, and my position now, is that I don't have social media at all. I decided to completely get rid of it, and I can say to you that my life isn't any worse for getting rid of it at all. In fact, it's better. The question I asked myself, and I invite you to ask yourself the same question, is, and you have to put your hand on your heart when you ask it, do you really need it? So I think the fact that you're here today and you've clicked on this video is positive. I think, like me at one point, you want to make a change, or you've at least acknowledged that social media perhaps isn't adding any value to you anymore. Thinking about making this decision for yourself must show that you're conscious of your own well-being. Perhaps you're at a point in your life where you're ready to sort of clear out some garbage, clear out some rubbish, and make a few changes. This can be a decision. Giving up social media can be a big decision that's going to help you with your well-being. I promise you, as someone that's done it myself. So let's break down some numbers, okay? The average person spends 2 hours a day on social media. 2 hours a day. Now, if you add that up over a week, that's 14 hours a week. 14 hours a week equates to 730 hours a year. 730 hours a year is just over 30 days. That's a whole month a year. If that doesn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. Think of what you could do with a whole extra month a year. You're almost living an 11-month year. What the hell are you doing? Let's assess this, because I think by looking at it this way, by acknowledging that, and 2 hours a day is on the smaller scale of things, it's on the very bottom of the scale. A lot of people use social media for a lot longer than 2 hours a day. So that's a bare minimum. So 1 month a year. So let's pull that apart, because we do need to understand what social media is costing us. And it's costing us something more valuable than money. It's costing us our time. And time is the most important currency. I think you could agree with me when I say there are so many better things you could be doing with your time, with an extra month a year. You could be putting that energy into other things that better yourself. You could take up new hobbies, you could take on tuition like learning a new language, you can perhaps learn a new skill. So you could almost say personal development is being sacrificed for this whole entire month that you're giving to social media. It's strange, isn't it? Because what really is this social media entity? What is this gravity that just pulls us all towards it? It's an itch that we feel we need to scratch compulsively when we open our phones and we look for this validation. I saw a very interesting picture online a while ago, and it was a picture that had been taken in Manhattan, New York, of people all walking down the sidewalk, and all of them had their phone in their hands, people going on daily commutes, going about their life, normal activities. And this photographer had taken a picture of hundreds of people walking. And what he'd done is he edited out their phones, because they all had phones in their hands looking down. And what you were left with was a picture of all these people that were just staring at their hands. Think about that for a minute. If you were told that you could take a pill or some sort of a drug that would compulsively make you stare at the palm of your hand for at least 2 hours a day, you'd think that was crazy. And that picture really resonated with me. It really hit home. Unfortunately, as we kind of already know, Facebook is only going to show you other people's successes, other people's happiness. You're going to unfortunately end up in a cycle of comparing yourself to what other people are doing. Seeing two other people perfectly happy in a filtered picture, walking on at the seaside or on the beach with their hands held, and can make you question yourself as to whether or not you're in the right place or not. It makes you contemplate and worry. You could see pictures of holidays that other people are having that you're not, or you can't afford to have, and feel a lot less of yourself for that. So, I mean, for what I did, what you can do, you can come off social media in very small steps. You could just start by deleting the app, keeping the account but deleting the app, and set yourself a short-term challenge, like perhaps a week, 30 days, and work towards taking yourself away from it. The extreme step would be to delete a social media account entirely and just get rid of it altogether. It's going to be scary when you first take social media out of your daily routine. You're going to feel that there's going to be a very strong compulsion. And I think once you put yourself in this position, you're going to understand you need this thing more than you realise, and you shouldn't. It's not right. This is certainly my experience with it anyway, and this is what shocked me into thinking, this thing's almost like an addiction. So, addictions can't be good, can they? And if you do happen to find a method that works for you when it comes to limiting social media in the beginning, try to replace it with good habits. Try to do something instead, like read a book. Something that you feel very comfortable doing in your own time, and not just take something out, but replace it with something else. Now, there are a few pros and cons to social media, and let's take a little look at those. Because social media can help you stay in touch with friends and family. Obviously, that's quite nice, especially if you have long-distance relationships. You can be part of communities of people that have shared interests, so you can kind of fit in with other people if you've got a certain niche that you like. You're going to very easily be able to access other people that also enjoy that. You're going to be able to get quick access to news, if that's your kind of thing. And you can also provide networking for jobs, so that's going to help you along those kind of endeavours as well. But unfortunately, there are a few cons. I'm not going to list them all, but I'll give you the big ones. Anxiety and depression is linked with excessive use of social media, constantly comparing yourself with other people. You will find yourself doom scrolling, where you spend endless amounts of time just rolling through reels, looking through pages. You can also find a lot of fake news. There's also going to be a lot of scaremongery that can sometimes pop up that can make you worry about certain situations that are perhaps going on in the world right now. So I think ultimately you're going to have to weigh up these decisions. You're going to have to decide whether or not it's good for you or not. However, I invite you, I really, just try this. Just have 30 days off or 7 days off and see how you feel. Because you're never going to know if you're going to be better for not having social media unless you take that jump, unless you initially step into being, identifying as someone that doesn't have social media. What's the worst that can happen? If it really gets that bad, you can just reinstall it on your phone. I promise you, your life is not going to be any worse because you haven't got a silly little app on your phone of some form of social media. As humans, we are all clearly looking for some sort of validation in our lives. We're looking for confirmation that we're doing right. We're constantly questioning ourselves, wondering if, the things we are doing are right and correct compared to other people. Don't look for that validation on something like a social media page. Look to your family, look to your friends, have heartfelt conversations with them, and try to fill that void that would be created, if you feel it would be, by deleting a social media page. Take actions to empower yourself. I promise you that getting rid of social media will help. Thank you for coming and listening to my thoughts today. I'll see you in the next video.